Hey traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. So we have been prisoner to the movements of the broader stock market and responding to earnings reports, but we had data this morning. The correlation broke and the bulls launched a surprise attack. We'll see how it stands on the charts. So here's the S&P 500 trying to set a daily higher low. Pretty solid day out there today. Here's the NASDAQ. It's a little bit weaker, but it's trying for the daily higher low as well. So we have been correlating to the broader market. We know that much. We've been seeing a reaction. We had a reaction with Amazon. Amazon went up yesterday after hours on earnings. Bitcoin followed along with it, but we had some weakness this morning. So a big turnaround out of nowhere. Here's this weakness, and the weakness was in response to economic data jobs report numbers that come out every Friday at 8:30 a.m. And so 8:30 a.m., if we look at SPY, again, we're still correlating to the broader market. It's just our strength varies. We're either stronger or we're weaker, and we have been weaker for a while. And here is the reaction to SPY jobs numbers. So bearish initially at 8:30, we bottom at 9, and then we bounce from there. What did Bitcoin do? Bearish at 8:30, we bottom at 9, and then bullish from there. When did the bulls really turn on the jets? Look at the volume pour in just after 10 o'clock. And if we look at SPY, what happened just after 10 o'clock? Again, we went up, but nowhere near as strong. So the correlation massively shifted to a very bullish correlation between Bitcoin and the broader market. We consolidated on SPY from 10:15 to 11:15. Bitcoin traded sideways during that period of time. So again, it's being impacted. We slowed down this bull move when the broader market started to consolidate, but we traded sideways from 10:15 to 11:15 and then saw another leg up when the S&P 500 pulled back notably, and then the bulls showed up. So we could now say over the last couple hours that correlation is weakening a little bit, just because the S&P 500 has been clearly in a solid 5-minute uptrend for the last 2 hours, and Bitcoin is fairly flat for the last 2 hours. But the damage has been done to the bears with the bulls making a statement. This is the most bullish day that we've seen. Obviously the day's not over, but if we were to close right here and now, it's the most bullish day that we've seen easily in the last 3 weeks, and potentially you could argue even longer. So it's a notable big green day, and it was a bit of a surprise attack. I did not expect a big bull move today at all. And we have the 4-hour time frame. You can see Bitcoin lost 12-hour support. So we had a 12-hour higher low level break straight into a bull move to a higher high. So did not expect that this would happen, but was in a position to benefit in case it did, which was my Ethereum swing position, which I'll talk about in just a second. But that's the name of the game with trading is, we can determine what's the most likely scenario. Things are going to happen that we don't expect, and we position ourselves where if something that I don't expect happens in the wrong direction, it's a small loss. And if something happens that I don't expect in the right direction, ideally I have a position that's going to benefit from that. So Bitcoin from here is just continuing the weekly bounce, and it's still a potential weekly bear flag. And if we measure from the last top, we're getting towards that 50%, but we have work to do. We need to make our move up towards 42,500 for a 50% bounce retracement, because we know, look big picture, monthly time frame. Is this a monthly high or low? It's possible, but we need a weekly trend change back to the bulls to have that confidence. So whenever we top out on this bounce, whenever we lose the daily higher lows, I'll certainly be watching weekly EMA resistance, which is going to drop down into the low 44s next week. But once we top out and lose the daily higher lows, we must confirm the weekly trend change. If we confirm the weekly trend change, we zoom out, we say, great, monthly higher low is set, and then we have to be cautious of a monthly head and shoulders. So we're going to take it one time frame at a time, and right now I'm on the weekly for most charts. And we can be zoomed in if we want. We know we're going to look for an hourly higher low next consolidation. When we lose the hourly uptrend, we're going to zoom out and scout a 4-hour higher low. We know how to play the zoom out game one time frame at a time. Next resistance level, I'm looking at 43.5 and 44.5 as two resistance levels from the way down. What's notable is this EMA on the daily time frame, this EMA 12, which has been really stubborn, is potentially turning into support. And the bulls would love to see a bull cross of these EMAs, the 12 and 26, a bull cross for the first time since our last weekly consolidation before the all-time high was hit. So this has not seen a bull cross since the all-time high, So again, it would be a good sign for the bulls if that can follow through. Dominance chart still not giving me any information. We're watching closely for a break of this many month pattern, but we know it might not happen for another few months. So just checking in every day, and it takes me 3 seconds to say nothing's changed. Okay, moving on. Ethereum was in a 4-hour channel, and that is breaking bull. And I was close to bailing on this position. So the position that I entered, just going back in hindsight a bit, was recognizing bullish action in stocks and saying, okay, I'm entering at 2,600. I sold half in the 2770s when Bitcoin was struggling at 39,000 resistance. And rather than selling half in this weakness, because I sold half, I had cushion to work with. If I didn't sell anything, we would have dropped back down and I would have then been in the red. And that would have made me uncomfortable. But because I sold half, my break even on the remaining position is then in the 24s. So it's pretty much, the only thing that can happen is I give back profit on this swing trade, which I don't want to do, but I'm willing to do it to give this trade some breathing room. And I looked at the 12-hour and said, okay, well, it's a swing position, and anything above 24.78 is a 12-hour high or low. But really the deciding factor for me and why I kept this position was ETH-BTC, which is now weakened with this Bitcoin bull move up this morning. But before this, the BTC pairing kept a lot of strength. And this hold right here, look at this double bottom of support. And at that point in time, February 3rd, 7 a.m., we were down at the low of consolidation. So I look at that and say, well, the BTC pairing is showing me more strength than the US dollar pairing, and it's holding support. And the US dollar pairing is in a 12-hour uptrend looking for a 12-hour high or low. All right, I'll give this position a chance to continue riding out. And I'm glad I did, obviously, because now that's an extra day and a half maker of profit now that we're up here. So we got 3,000 key resistance. We have a clear 12-hour higher low pattern. I like Ethereum's clarity more than Bitcoin because Bitcoin broke 12-hour support into the bull break where Ethereum held it. So it's a much more clear uptrend for me with 25.72 as now an important level of support. And as far as resistance is concerned, after 3,000, I'm looking at 32.73. And again, we won't have confidence that we're topping out on this weekly chart. We know we're scouting a weekly lower high, but we won't have confidence that it has topped out until we lose these higher lows. So the bulls just want to maintain these little daily higher lows as long as possible to keep this uptrend going to prevent from the weekly lower high being set, because the bulls need more retracement from here to create the space for a weekly trend change to eventually try and take place. Goal for the bulls across the board, Bitcoin, Ethereum, is to get to weekly EMA 12, which is going to be dropping down every week. But if this bounce follows through to that level, we will then be creating the space for a weekly higher low. If I'm right now in patient mode, I have this little exposure. It's nothing meaningful. I've got my long-term no touch. But if I'm going to go aggressive bullish in the space again, I need a big enough bounce on the weekly where I can then say, all right, that's impressive, bulls. I want more position. I want more exposure. And I'll catch you on the weekly higher low. And I'll add to my position for there. And my stop will be under that low. And I'll change my stop. I'll talk about that more in depth when the time comes. But I need more follow through if I'm going to be confident that a weekly higher low is coming. We're looking pretty good, but another leg up. So same thing, hourly, we're going to scout a higher low. When we lose the hourly uptrend, we zoom out and scout the 4-hour higher low. But right now the hourly is nice and clear. We're due for consolidation, and it is shaping up. And we are going to scout an hourly higher low. And ETH-BTC is looking for a 4-hour higher low. Bigger picture, monthly uptrend, inside bar on the monthly. Weekly time frame, we're just looking for a weekly lower high here as well. And the last thing the Ethereum bulls would want to see is a weekly downtrend confirmed, because at that point we would likely be losing the monthly uptrend as well. But no sign of that at this point. Just cautious that ETH-BTC may be getting a bit toppy. And really it would be a 4-hour higher low and then a bounce to set a lower high. And that may have me exit Ethereum and then look for a different altcoin position. And so far it's gone well. I exited Mana when Mana was a lead bull. Definitely didn't nail the top, but I sold the last of my position in the 250s and 60s, and then I went into Ethereum. And so the gains that I've seen in Ethereum are more than what I would have seen if I stuck in Mana. So just bouncing around for coins that are relatively strong, and then see that weakness is potentially shaping up, and then I try and find another coin that has some more relative strength. So may exit Ethereum when ETH BTC is setting a 4-hour lower high. We'll see. No game plan at the moment, aside from letting it continue to play out. Mana daily higher low is set at 243, 244, and trying to see continuation of its uptrend. 290 is the top of the move initially. Weekly time frame, again, bulls want as much follow through as possible because we need that weekly trend change eventually if this is going to be a monthly higher low. And again, a patient bull that doesn't have positions at this point is waiting for the weekly. An aggressive bull is going to be looking to enter on an hourly higher low or a daily higher low, but it's really, we need a big enough bounce on the weekly. We scout the weekly higher low, and then once that weekly higher low is set, we play off of that support level. And then if the bulls confirm weekly trend changes, it's a notable shift of momentum back in their favor. And at that point in time, the S&P 500 would likely need to be approaching back towards the all-time high for me to be confident in the sector. So I am content with what I've got. And I will be patiently waiting for enough follow through that I'm going to be scouting weekly higher lows. And that may not happen for another 3 to 4 weeks. And that's the name of the game, patience. I'm waiting for that trade to come to me. I know what I'm looking for. I don't know where it's going to, what price it's going to happen at, but I know it's the most likely scenario. So remaining patient. We're also seeing Mana. So here's the Mana USD 12-hour chart. Higher low and hasn't really topped out yet. But look at Mana BTC. We're close to confirming a 12-hour downtrend. So there is definitely some relative weakness here. And the weekly time frame, granted it's stronger, bigger picture, but there's a bit of a shift going on. Ever since Bitcoin turned the jets on at the low of the day in reaction after the initial bearish reaction to the jobs numbers, we saw a significant shift in terms of Bitcoin taking the lead on this bull move. And you look at the fundamentals, why is crypto reacting this way to the jobs numbers? I don't care. I never try and rationalize the market because the way that the reaction took place, they were good jobs numbers. Why is everything dumping on good jobs numbers? Well, because if it's good jobs numbers and the economy is doing well, then that means the Fed's going to stay their course and have, 4 raises of rates for 2022. And then we just see the market completely turn around and say, oh, well, the economy's doing well and the jobs are, it's the same information that led to a bearish reaction and then turned around for a bullish reaction. So that's a tricky place to try and anticipate how the market is going to react to a certain piece of fundamental information. But one thing is for sure, the cannabis space is having a really good day and crypto is having a really good day. So it is definitely a bit more of a risk-on environment. XTZ is another name that's been a lead bull. Look at the daily stair-step pattern, higher low every single day for the last 8 days. But we're starting to recognize signs that lead bull position is fading. And if you look at the 4-hour time frame, this channel is nice and clear. But look at the move over the last 16 hours. We broke resistance with 0 follow through, and the BTC pairing already broke its 4-hour channel long ago. And the BTC pairing is a 4-hour downtrend and dropping notably. The daily consolidation is already underway. So we can say that XTZ USDT is not positioned well if Bitcoin were to see any kind of meaningful consolidation from here, which it's not. We haven't even started hourly consolidation, but if Bitcoin sees hourly consolidation, then we're going to anticipate that XTZ is going to be heading back down towards that recent low of 367. So if I'm looking to we're in a market environment in crypto where there are nice lead bulls and nice lead bears, and you can have multi-directional positions open at the same time. I would be scouting a bearish entry in XTZ. If I'm in Ethereum, I'm happy with my Ethereum bull position and I want to hedge it. I'm scouting a bearish entry in XTZ to offset any consolidation that I see in Ethereum, knowing that XTZ with this current setup could potentially end up pulling back even further. So that's one way. That's 2 ways that I've just explained how I use the BTC pairings. Number 1, to keep me in Ethereum, and number 2, to be scouting a bearish entry in XTZ. And next time we check in on the video, we'll see how this ends up playing out if this did indeed mark a temporary top in XTZ or not. Other than that, obviously a lot of green out there in this space, but you don't often see Bitcoin up at the high end of that list. So best case for the altcoin bulls, what they want to see is Bitcoin top out and then form a 4-hour equilibrium range all weekend, and for bull confidence to seep out into the altcoin space and for profits to start rotating around. People take some profit in Bitcoin and then they go into these altcoins, and that's something to be keeping an eye out for, which would mean we would want to see, or altcoin bulls would want to see, the Bitcoin dominance chart top out as well. SHIB was a good equilibrium. Has it broken yet? SHIB at resistance. Look at how long this one's been tightening up. 12-hour equilibrium for something like 11 days at this point. And still tight. We may remain within it. We did break, but zero follow through. And if you're not going to break on this significant crypto bull move this morning, we may stay fairly range bound. The tighter, the better for when the break eventually takes place, but certainly not a convincing bull break at this point. All right, that's where we stand heading into the weekend. Bull is getting some relief, and we'll see if that confidence trickles out into the altcoin space. Once Bitcoin finds its top, do we see the dominance chart drop and altcoins play a little bit of catch up? Hope you have a good rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Do good things, and we'll see you soon. Good morning. One of the ways that I stay one step ahead of the herd is by out hustling them. So every single day I'm waking up before the sun, not by an alarm, but because my body wakes me up, because it's pumped to be alive. And it's looking forward to going downstairs and making content first thing. And I love starting the day and setting the intention of the day of being productive by knocking things off my checklist before it's even 8 a.m. It's really easy to have a very productive day when you're already productive before the sun even comes up. So when learning charts and technical analysis, for me it was never, I need to do this work so I can make money. It was always, I enjoy doing this and money is going to result from it. And those are two very different mindsets to be in, and you have to ensure that your goals are in line with your enjoyment if you're going to be able to do this long-term successfully. So don't forget to do good things out there. Go get productive on the day. We'll see you soon.
Shh, hear that? It's Sunday morning and that's the sound of the herd sleeping.